Okay, so what we are doing today is the solo duo trio orientation. And actually, I want to show you some stuff on the computer too, if you want to snuggle in. Bring my chairs. Oh yeah, slide them up. Slide them up, let's get friendly. We all know each other, so that's something. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Okay, so what we're doing differently this year for solo duo trio, I think I can share my screen on this recording. So that way your mom will be able to see it too.
See, everybody see. Musical chair.
Okay, is this new competition. So my thought is, we last year decided we weren't going to go back to fly after all the things, and the way that it had been going. And then when I started looking at competitions, started panicking because I really didn't know that much about them. And I talked to another studio owner friend of mine, and she said, well, what we do when we want to experiment is we take just certain kids to a competition. And I was like, well, if I just pick certain kids, then it's going to be favoritism, and I can't go down that rabbit hole either. But if we offer it to just our solo duo trio kids, then it's offered to a specific group without requiring the whole team to go. And we can experiment with a new competition to see if maybe one of the three we're going to this year doesn't stay on the list, or if we like it more than one of them. Then each year, if we want to experiment with a new one, it'd be easy to replace others as we go. The reason that I chose Chicago specifically, one, obviously cool destination with lots to do, but two, I think going to a city that big, we would get a very different group of kids to compete against compared to what we're going to see in Michigan. So I think that as far as dance is concerned, it would give us a new perspective. So I started looking at specifically 2 weeks before our first competition or 2 weeks after our last competition, because you know I'm very anal about every other week. And that is the hardest part of planning a competition schedule, is how fussy I am about it. But I found this one, and the reason that I picked it at first, I was like, ooh, sometimes you can do it on a cruise ship. So I got like super excited, and I was like, this sounds incredible. Not realistic, but I'm pretending that it is. So it looks super fun. Also, the logo looks like the Chanel logo, so clearly that's why. And the fees are comparable to 24/7. So even in a bigger city, the fees, not 24/7, car comparable to car, and we really enjoy the way that car is run. So I'm thinking in this great big city to find one that is mid-range price for our area would be something that would work well for my kids. I don't really know if it will translate that way to judging, but we'll find out. So it looks super fun. Their website is great. They have on there a channel where you can watch some of their dances as they've recorded. You can take a look at their social media ahead of time, and looking at the sponsors that they have, they're all companies that I'm familiar with. So that makes me feel better about choosing a larger scale competition out of the area. And then the other thing that's nice is their media is free. And if a competition is offering that, then they have 10 extra points in my book. So, and then their nationals, which I thought looked super cool. And we won't talk about that until after we go to the Chicago competition, because I really dislike that anyone can sign up for nationals without qualifying. That makes me feel like we should never go on principle, that we didn't earn it. And it bothers me, but it's on a cruise ship. So after we go, if we really enjoy the competition, then I'll send all the information out to my solo duo trio parents and say, here's the cost, here's what it looks like. If it's something that we want to do, then we can take the step there. My rule for solo duo trios is the whole solo, I'm not solo, the whole duet and the whole trio have to want to go. Otherwise, I'm not going to turn the dance into a solo, because the fees are different and the work that you put into it is different. We have had to, we call it reblocking, when you put new kids in new spots and change choreography in the past for different numbers of students and different partners. And that whole process is very emotional for the students, and it's caused some kids not to return to dance because they get so connected to their partner. And so I don't want to change partners, and I don't want to drop dances down to a duet if it was a trio, or a solo if it was a duet. So everybody would have to want to go, one, to Chicago, and two, to their nationals. So with that in mind, and this is what I'm gonna hand you if your mom can come down here at some point.
The nationals this year, if the work's good in Chicago, are you looking at?
Either or, I'd poll parents. Because if we only have one or two kids that wanna go, I don't find it worth it to go.
Right.
Because my administrative fees have to cover some of my travel,
Mhm.
otherwise I'm just digging a hole. So,
Having a vacation.
yeah, those aren't really an option when you own your own business. So I'm gonna pretend that it is, but it's not. So I'll poll parents and see how we all feel, because maybe we have like the absolute best experience and everyone wants to fundraise as a group and try to do it. So we can look at that when we get to that point. So what I have for today that is different from previous years is just a little form for each parent, and up at the top we put your kid name, your name, and then if you're interested in them doing a solo, obviously they have to earn it today. And if I look at the dancer today or at callbacks on Saturday, if I bring them back and I don't feel that they have the performance quality yet by themselves, I don't want to put them up in front of judges to just be ripped apart. I don't think that's appropriate. So we check if you're comfortable paying the fee for the solo. And then underneath that, there's a checkbox if you would be interested in that solo if they earn it today or Saturday going to the Chicago competition. The add-on for just the one extra competition for a soloist is $200. And then our typical solo fee is $1,600. Yes. Yeah, 12, 14, 16. So 1,600 gets them their costume and all their media and their participation for the 3 standard competitions. And then the extra 200 is to add on the Chicago competition. So
Is this the one that was in the poster?
yes,
That we won?
yes, yes. And then underneath that, the number of duo trio dances. So a duo trio dance is $1,400 for one dance. And some parents come in and say, my kid can do 2, my kid can do 1. When I look at them later in the evening, I compare all the kids together in all sets of 2s and 3s. And you never really know until you see them together how they're going to pair up and how they're going to dance together. It's really cool that sometimes they feed off of each other. Sometimes their styles change when they're paired with a certain friend. We did some musical theater experiments a couple years ago with We Don't Talk About Bruno, and the way that some of them sang to each other and played off of each other was just, you didn't see it coming, you didn't expect it. So I look at that, and then we take all the kids' names and we put them on sticky notes and we spread them across this table and we pair them up with wherever we saw things that fit. My goal is not to go too far over the limit that you put on this piece of paper, because I know it's difficult for them to say, well, I have 4 to choose from and my parents gave me 2. So how do I slim this down? So I don't want to give them 8 options if they're allowed to, but they might end up with 3 or 4 because maybe they were paired with multiple kids that looked phenomenal together. So that gives us the opportunity to say, okay, all of these dances would be successful at a competition, would be fun for me to create because I have to spend a lot of time with the kids in the next 15 weeks. And then from there, we will post the results of how they did and what offers they have on Sunday, because there's a callback on Saturday to look at them a second time. And then once those results are posted, I'll email Monday morning. I'll have it preset and automated to send Monday morning with those same offerings. And then we'll give until the following Sunday for parents to email back and say, these are the dances my child selected. Then I print all of the emails of the solo duo trio parents, and I have my sticky notes and I put a smiley face on all the ones that said yes to which dances. And if there are 2 smiley faces for that duo, it goes on our schedule. Right now on the schedule, there's a huge block on Saturday that just says solo duo trio routines. And so as I go through and do that, I look at what time each kid gets here and try to get the youngest ones out first through the day. What I have found is that all of my comp kids stay all day Saturday. So we're doing that in a way that is more welcoming this year. I'm hoping that my landlord will have our extra room done. And if you're working in here, then you're on the floor. If you're not on the floor, then you and your partner can be in the mini studio practicing or sitting up here. Likewise, if they're only in a group routine, but they want to be a part of everything else with the team, pack a lunch, pack a dinner, enjoy, stay, so that it becomes a huge Saturday of team bonding, basically. So recapping, we look at them today, we give them as many offers as look well today, keeping in mind what your limits are as a family to be cognizant of the choices that your kids have to make. I also throw like some really wacky ones in there sometimes that they didn't try together and just throw the kids off because we didn't try point last year and I was like, a point duet. I want to see that. So sometimes that shows up on there too, which is fun. And then those are posted Sunday. And then Monday, there's an email copy of that. And then by the following Sunday, I will have, I think I put on here, Craig, in my notes, I'm going to email that I'd like it to be by 5 p.m. the following Sunday. Then I'll make our schedule and release that Sunday night so that you know what to plan for. You have 2 weeks to get your ducks in a row for Saturdays. So this is what I want mom to sign when she gets out of work today.
Okay.
And you can explain all of that to her, or I'll send her this voice recording that's on here, which I guess I can unshare my screen now. So here are these. Turn those around. Okay, so you can hang out with friends and warm up, and then I'm gonna go through all this. Actually, you can listen to all of this.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it again later. It's things like, please shower.
Important question.
Yeah.
We should put for how much parent.
Which parent's gonna pay the bill?
It's not the-
Just kidding.
it's not the
Just put
question.
yourself down because you're here. Me,
Which makes
me,
it make
put
a
me
decision.
down. Oh, no.
What?
You're violating the parent etiquette talk again. No scoffing.
It's not-
I read it. Do you want to go to Chicago? Do you want to go to Chicago? I just learned today there's a giant T-Rex there. I have to go see.
Giant T-Rex.
Names too.
That's a girl.
I will say that the attractive part about the Chicago is it's really honest.
Well, I don't have time to like
So,
do that stuff.
Like, I would
I
have
mean, it was you at the end of this training.
T-Rex.
I need to ask you. what
I
you're
just need
interested
it, I just need it before we deliberate so that I don't overshoot to where your kids have too much to decide on. So take your time with that. I just need it by the end. I'd say bye.
in. I just don't know what she has decided in her head.
Yeah, and your,
I don't like her.
also your kids don't have to see those. That's up
Yeah.
to you. Okay. Will you grab all of our friends so I can go over hygiene now? And similar things.
Let's switch back.
Yeah, let's do that, just to be safe.
Yeah. And then.
Yes,
And
that
then-
is the good thought. And that comes out of the initial, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then.
John Brown?
Sure.
Awesome. Wow.
Jasmine, you're with us. That was good people.
It would look like that. Yep. Okay, so. That's okay. Can I take your picture?
Yeah.
I won't put the parents in it, but. You're freezing. Oh, the parents are in it a little bit. Sorry, guys. But look at how cute your kids are.
I've been here.
Oh, no, the seniors are coming up with the inaugural ASAO senior prank.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be. Okay, and they helped me come up with all these ideas anyway. Okay. Dancers. What we are going to do today is we are going to watch you do duos, trios, and solos in front of the panel of judges to see who you pair up with most confidently, most gracefully, depending on the style of dance, maybe most sexily. And then at the very end of the day, we take a look at all of the pairings that look like they would be ready to learn a competition dance and confidently performed on a competition stage. And then those routines will be posted on the door on Sunday. There is a fairly good chance that I need to see some of you more than once. So I will watch you today and then I'll go home and I'll go, oh man, I really wish I would have seen Brianna and Lydia dancing together and I never paired them together because this always happens. I go home and I have like all these feelings like, oh, I really wish I would have seen Lydia and Brianna doing acro tricks. And I would know if that would be a great duet. So I'll do a callback for those and I'll look at all those things again on Saturday. Also because we have some dancers that aren't able to be here today, so that way I can pair up with those. Pardon?
She looked at me.
Yeah, Mom and I talked about it already. You're safe. Yep. So then on Sunday, we will put the number of offers that you have on the door. The number of offers that are listed on the door does not mean that is the number of dances that you will necessarily be doing. You will have to talk with your parents about how many dances you are permitted to do for the season and then pick from that. Then your parents will email me or reply to an email to me with everything you have selected to do. And then I take a look at my chart and I put smiley faces next to everywhere that everybody said yes. And if both duet partners or all three trio partners said yes, then I put it on the schedule. On Saturdays, new this year, I am encouraging the whole team, even if they're not in a solo duo trio, to be here all day for team bonding and practicing, taking turns on the main floor, taking turns in the mini, watching and cheering so that our whole team has that experience together. Because over the last few years, I feel like Saturdays have been the most fun day. You will learn. It's great. So, yes.
All the dances.
Yes, every,
Why not do?
no Tuesday, Thursday. Nope, everything is on Saturday. Yep, we'll start with the team routines will come first on Saturdays, and then after the team routines, there will be a schedule of solos, duos, and trios all mixed up like we've always done, and we'll just take turns, and maybe we'll run the team routine again a little bit later for a brain break. So everybody is encouraged to be here, and we'll bond together, and maybe build a pyramid out of humans or something, you know. Again.
I kept falling.
Okay, let's see. What else? Partnering etiquette. If you are given an offer for a duo or a trio, really a solo also. Another new rule this year that I'm going to say loudly is you have to shower. You have to.
She just took an hour on that.
I thought I booked a shower.
Because we are doing more and more partner lifts. I don't want anyone to be uncomfortable. So I want everyone to pay very close attention to their hygiene. We all have to wear deodorant, all of us, even little ones, and we all have to shower either the morning of or the night before for competitions practice. You also have to wash your leotards before you come to competition on Saturday. You cannot come in a dirty leotard.
The dancer themselves has to.
100%, yes. Yes. You have to start doing your own laundry if you don't already. You must wash them by hand in the kitchen sink.
I watched both your shows.
Okay, so that is very, very important. Now, if you are offered a duo or trio and you accept it, there are a few things that we learned last year that we have to talk about this year to make sure that these rules are followed. And they'll be in the policies when you sign your child up for the group dance. It'll include a solo duo trio policy section that it'll make you agree to. if you want to do extra practice on a day other than Saturday with your duo or trio partner, then you will contact that friend or your parents will contact each other on your own. If a duo or trio partner has an excused absence coming up and they want to make sure that their partner knows about it, then they need to go through the studio with that information. What we had last year was some duet partners would talk to each other, and since you're not going, I'm not going to go this Saturday, but then no one would tell me. So rather than both of you just skipping practice and not coming, let's not do that. And if the whole team is here all day on Saturdays and we have someone that has an academic obligation or happen to get sick and let us know they're not going to be there that day, then we can work on other things with other partners throughout that time frame. Does that make sense? So if you want to do extra practice on a day other than Saturday with your friend, you coordinate that or talk to their parents or have your parents talk to each other. I know not all of you have cell phones, so all of you can talk to each other. But if one of you is going to miss practice for Saturdays, then you have to let me know. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. If I have to reschedule a Saturday, I will send it out to the whole team and put that information out as well. Anything that I reschedule for Saturdays is not mandatory because it's not on the initial calendar when you agree to do the event. And there is one Saturday that I put on the calendar that I shouldn't have. It's the weekend of Labor Day because Lake State gave us our recital dates and they're a month earlier than what I typically like to start planning for. I had to walk my whole season schedule back and take away our breaks. So the Saturday of Labor Day weekend has competition practice on it, and we won't be open that Saturday because it's the last weekend that any of us will have time to do anything else before Saturday. Pardon? Yeah, that's what we're doing too. So, pardon?
What was Mexico the 23rd?
Sorry, dude. Also, remember last year how we tried a new competition? We went to car and you guys loved it. Well, I wanted to be able to try a new competition every year. So my plan is to offer just the solo duos and trios one new competition that they can go to. Of course, you have to have permission from your parents. You can't just go to Chicago by yourself unless they send you with another parent and it's something that they work out together, but you can't walk there. So
6 hours.
by walking. Oh. I was like, your math's a little off. Yes, yes. So we are going to go to a new dance competition. I'll show it to you on here. They have their social media on here. I know that some of you are Instagrammers, so you can check it out. It's called Celebrity Dance Competition. This is what it looks like on their website. Looks pretty cool. They have a link to do their social media and stuff. Their stage lights look awesome. So that one is in Chicago and that one will be just for solo duos and trios to go to. So your parents, when they sign you up, they also let us know if you're allowed to compete in Chicago because it's an add-on, something additional to do. And if both you and your duet partner are interested in going to Chicago, then that routine will go to Chicago. Does that make sense? So as long as both say yes, then that routine will go. It is possible that your parents may say that your duet can go because you have a partner, but that maybe financially your solo is not going to go. And that's up to your family and they don't have to send both duet and solo. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. So this way we'll get to try a new competition and see if maybe next year we don't want to go back to car and we add celebrity to our regular competition, something like that. If one partner doesn't want to go, or maybe 2 out of 3 don't want to go, I am not going to turn the routines into a solo just to take them. And I'm not going to have somebody else learn your dance. Does that make sense? Okay, so either both go or we don't do that one. And then the other thing that I want to tell you about is, do you remember last year at our first practice, we voted on songs and costumes? This year, what we're doing differently is on August 23rd. That's a social, yeah. Yes, on August 23rd, we're having a social. We're gonna have an ice cream bar, maybe order pizza, probably. hang out and have fun. And at that particular event, that's where we're gonna vote on songs and costumes. So when you have your offer on the door this Sunday that tells, or offer on the door this Sunday, and then the following Sunday when we have the schedule put out, then you can reach out to your partners and say, hey, what songs do you want to do? Hey, what songs do you want to do? And I'll also have the websites listed for the costumes, and you guys can pick them ahead of time and bring them to the social with you. You don't have to do that. I will have the catalogs at the social that you can flip through, but if you want to, you can.
If you do like pizza, you'll have to get the pizza, team order.
100%.
Oh,
Yes, I don't think we have any vegans that audition this year. So we won't do vegan peeps, but lots of gluten-free peeps. Yes, and dairy-free peeps. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so we'll have the social and we'll vote there for songs and costumes. You know already that I don't always pick your songs and I don't always pick your costumes. So when you come to the social, if you're figuring things out with your friend ahead of time, come up with at least 3 songs and at least 3 costumes. And the songs and costumes should match. Because you're sitting on the floor. Okay, any questions about how we're gonna do solo duo trios or the new competition or the scheduling? We got all that this year, so this one very easy. Okay, so we have a lot of time. We can make this meeting shorter next year. During that time, if you want to chat with your parents about your forms, they have forms to fill out with what you want to do for the year before you audition. Would you go get Eva and Maddie? And that way, will you push the baby and then mom can do you last? Okay. So, if you want to make a request, on the back of your form with your parent, you can request who you dance with. But it's just a request. You can write on the back what you're interested in before your mom gets here. Okay, so I'm going to end the Zoom meeting so that I can send it to parents that need it. And you chat with your parents about what you want them to put on the back of your paper. And I'll get a total for you.